have been brought out of captivity. And when the children of Israel got brought out of captivity from Pharaoh, years of slavery, oppression, and degradation, here's what's amazing for those of us who graduated from Sunday school. You know that they crossed the Red Sea. The years of slavery, bondage, oppression, degradation, gentrification, they finally crossed the Red Sea. And here's what we don't even understand and what we don't even preach is once they got delivered, they thought they were free. I just said something. See, some of us think once we get delivered out of a situation that immediately you step into what you're supposed to have. But God says, no, that's just the beginning of the process. He says, I needed you to go through something even after you got delivered because I didn't want you spoiled. I needed you to appreciate the journey that you came out of so that you make up in your mind, I ain't ever gonna live like that again. I need those of y'all who are just grateful for some things that God brought you out of, that God would keep his hand on your life. They bring them out of bondage, and now they're in the wilderness. And the Lord does something I don't understand, but most of us have lived. He now puts them in a desert. And I got to ask you, this ain't even for you, this is for the person beside you. What happens when you're anointed and you're in a place where stuff don't grow? What do you do when God's hand is on your life and you're not having a fruitful existence? I better go further. What happens when you're trying to follow the path of God and you got to watch people around you die and get sick and not able to make it, and you don't even understand why God's hand is still on your life and he tells you, keep going? Can I help somebody further? What happens when you're in the desert and God is with you but won't pull you out of it? What happens when you going through a rough season and you want deliverance and God will make you suffer in that position and say, will you trust me if I keep you in it but don't take you out of it? Here are the children of God in an atmosphere where stuff doesn't grow, where nothing is fruitful, where they watching family members die. And while they're watching family members die, 40 years later, they stumble into the wall of Jericho. And the wall of Jericho is the last thing they got to get through in order to get to what God promised. And now God gives them strange instructions. The instructions that the Lord gives them is what God perhaps may be giving to some of us. He says, you are right at the precipice of your greatest blessing. You're right on the edge of your breakthrough. But what I want you to do is I want you to go around the wall and say nothing. You getting ready to get everything you prayed for. Everything you shouted about. Everything you wrote in your prayer journal. Everything you wrote on your vision board. You're about to get there. But don't say nothing. You're about to get what nobody in your family has ever received. But don't say nothing. You are about to break every generational curse. But don't say nothing. You're about to walk in what you thought you were disqualified from. But don't say nothing. You're about to receive what don't match your credit report. But don't say nothing. He says, I want you to walk around for 6 days and don't say nothing. And they don't even know why he's telling them to do it. Because God is telling them, don't mess this up. What do you mean, don't mess this up? So the last time when I brought you out of the Red Sea and you were on your way to the promise, you started complaining about your process. You started complaining about what you didn't have, not thinking about what you're getting ready to get. So you went through these 40 years because of your mouth. You went through 40 years of doubting me and second guessing me because of your mouth. I allowed people in your family to die because of your mouth. So he said, this time, so you don't offend me, so you don't make me block your blessing, shut up and don't say nothing until I do it. Said, second reason why I want you to be quiet, I need you to be quiet because your enemies are listening. God, I can't hear nobody, and I don't want them to hear the plan I got for your life. Because you talk so much, you gave the enemy your blueprint on what you were trying to get. Shut up and let me do the walking for you. So stop sharing all your ideas. Stop sharing all of your dreams. Stop sharing all of your plans with people who gonna talk you out of it or try to sabotage it or try to undermine it. He said, I need you to be quiet for 6 days. But on the seventh day, I need you to do something crazy. I need you to open up your mouth. Hallelujah. You are not going to need a gun. You're not going to need a bow and arrow. You are not going to need a truck. All you need is your mouth. That if you are quiet for a season, in the moment I tell you, hear me, New Birth, the moment I tell you to sound your trumpet, everything they locked you out of, you getting ready to walk into it. Now this ain't for you, it's for everybody next to you. God said if you sound the alarm, it ain't just you going in. Here's your celebration. Everybody in your family is about to step in it. I need you to be seated. I'm coming. Please, would you be seated for just 1 minute? Be seated. I got to show you something. Said, I need you to be quiet until I tell you to make the noise, because you don't even know what's happening. CDC, the World Health Organization, both separately had press conferences this week. They said, I don't know where this furor has come from, but people are doing it wrong. Hallelujah. So they are messing up the surgical centers. They're messing up the health places. So they're messing up the health places because the people, hear this, my words, not the CDC's words, because the people don't even realize that they're in spiritual warfare. God help me in here. They don't even realize they're in spiritual warfare. And so you got people who are living in fear and stress and anxiety here, and watch the hand of the enemy. The hand of the enemy have them all wearing surgical masks. God help me, because the enemy knows if I can get you to cover your mouth, hallelujah, in the face of something that's got the potential to kill you, you ain't gonna make it. But the CDC said if you want to live, take the mask off. Hallelujah. Take the mask off, because what you're dealing with, your mouth can change the word. Y'all, I got to get out of here, but I'm so thankful to tell you that your healing is already in the place. Why is my healing already in the place? Your healing is in the place because you didn't even see what today is. Today is the 8th. You are only supposed to be silent until the 6th. So everything you needed started on yesterday. So God said, if you want to step in it, this is your moment to be shouting in the presence of God. All right? Okay. I'm almost where I'm going. Said, don't mess this up. Said, don't mess this up. I'm not looking for this section to do it, and in this section to do it, and in this section to do it. Don't mess this up. He said, children of Israel, if all of you shout at the same time, everything that was locked up is about to be open. And not only is it going to be open, here's where y'all ought to get excited. You're going to step into it. My time is almost up. But I'm telling you, would you look at down your row and tell them, don't mess this up. All of us going to have to sound the alarm. All of us are going to have to shout in here. All of us are going to have to scream through this season. God told me to tell you, your season of being quiet is over. If you open up your mouth, everything you need me to do is about to manifest. When I count to 3, I want you to shout in here like you about to have it. 1, 2, 3, shout. Listen, hey, I don't want to cause a traffic jam, but if you on the end of the row, if you sitting on the end of the row, would you just step out in the aisle? God said if you scream, you about to step in it. If you cry out loud, you about to step in it. If you open your mouth, you about. Hey, how much? Hey, don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. 40 is the number of generations. What God is getting ready to bless you with, no member of your family has ever had it. I can't hear no worshiper. What you are about to walk into, nobody in your family has anything like it. When you cry out unto God, whatever the enemy been trying to lock your children out of, your grandchildren out of, the door is getting ready to open. Cry out unto God like you need something to open. Hey. Hey. Come on, lay your hands on your belly. I need you to cry out unto God. You've been waiting years for this. You've been waiting weeks for this. You've been waiting months for this. Your grandmother prayed for this. This is your hour. I want you to lift up that hand. Something is going to open for you this week. I say it again, something is going to open for you this week. Hallelujah. I'm going to say it till your spirit receives it. Something is going to open for you this week. I speak over every lifted hand that whatever they've tried to lock you out of, whatever they've tried to block you from getting, that in the next 7 days, before you get back to church on next Sunday, God is going to give you evidence that your season of living in the desert is over. I'm waiting on my worshipers to show up. Your season of working and having nothing to show for it has come to an end. Your season of being faithful and fruitless. I declare and decree over every lifted hand that it's not just you getting the blessing, but every person that walked with you in the hardest season of your life. Every person that wouldn't give up on you when you wanted to give up on yourself is now standing in the gap with you. And those of you, your faith stands in proxy for a family member that needs a wall to come down. This is your last shout of the day. Would you give God glory like a wall is going to fall on their behalf? Give two people a fist bump and tell them, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. It's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for you. Don't mess this up.
It's a season of power.
Come on, and prosperity.
Oh, it's a new season coming.
Listen, wherever you are in the room,